Welcome to another installment of Honest and Uneducated, the show where we talk about anything from movies, movie news, video games, comic books, you name it, all that sorts of fun stuff. Before we get into our main topics today, just want to remind everybody that you can submit questions or topics just by emailing us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That is honestanduneducated@gmail.com. And do not hesitate to send us some maybe more obscure questions that we may not cover on like a typical show. Like typical show topics, we tend to stick to more current events in the movie news world or the video game world or anything like that. But if you send us a more obscure question or something that's kind of off topic, we could still answer it on a 21 question segment where we actually curate a list of 21 of those more obscure questions, and Rick and I will address them in their own video called 21 Questions. We have one up on the channel right now. Go and take a look at that. Just one more thing before we get into our main topics. If you've been enjoying the content here, just please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Helps out. That's pretty much it. So let's get into the show. Let's get started with our main topics. Joining me today is none other than Rick Metz. How you doing today, Rick?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Bit hot outside. Had to cut the grass. It was kind of miserable, but
Yeah, it's a
moving
sticky,
on.
a little sticky outside.
Yeah, we keep going.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's all
But
you can do.
we do got some good news today. Well, I guess over the week, there's been a lot of actual movie news that has come out recently, and we're gonna kick things off with our first topic today, being our first look at the Snyder Cut. So, Rick, did you have a chance to actually take a look at this clip that Zack Snyder posted on his Twitter?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think about it?
I thought it was pretty cool, actually. It kind of throws back to those rendered images that we covered in the first episode. You kind of finally get to see it all put together, and I thought it looked pretty intense.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, it was barely a look. It was obviously just one scene, Wonder
Mhm.
Woman just seeing like a mural on the wall
I thought that was
of
cool.
of Darkseid and everything. And I mean, the best part about it, which everyone should go watch it if you haven't seen it, but the best part about it, like most DC films, is the score because it is just really epic.
Yeah.
Like, I love Hans Zimmer's themes for pretty much every movie he's made in the DC.
You,
That's one thing that I think DC has done better than Marvel in the movie world, is had much better soundtracks and scores.
I don't think you can beat
Um,
Hans Zimmer really when it comes to movie scores.
I mean, other than John Williams,
John Williams.
I don't know anybody. I don't know if like anybody is at least enjoy the work that they've done more so than
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Hans and uh, John Williams. But I did like the first look we got of it. The only thing I am kind of worried about with this is this movie isn't supposed to come out till 2021. Like, he's still working on it. And the only thing I'm worried about is like how often is he going to be teasing this kind of stuff out? Because Zack
Yeah.
Snyder, even over the years, as the years have passed since the original Justice League came out, Zack Snyder had been constantly teasing little things that like what were going to be in his version of Justice League.
Can't keep it a secret.
Yeah, and even before the Snyder Cut was announced, he would always just like drop a concept art of Darkseid or
Yeah.
something, just like little things he would constantly tease. And I'm just worried that now that it is a thing, and it is the film is actually being made, like, you don't want to keep dropping all these little things that really aren't very exciting,
Yeah.
and then kind of like people's excitement is going to teeter out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want. 'Cause
Don't reveal
everyone,
too much.
yeah.
Right?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, this doesn't reveal anything. I mean,
Yeah,
this
it
doesn't
really
give away
doesn't.
any secrets by any means. I'm mainly just worried about, like, I don't know if you remember when the trailer came out for the most recent Godzilla film, King
Yeah.
of the Monsters, right? They released that trailer at Comic-Con like a full year or so before the movie came out, and everybody out of Comic-Con was incredibly hyped.
Yeah.
Like, that was all anybody was talking about. It was, and it was a great trailer. It looked
It
great.
was a great movie, I thought.
Well, and no one else did because no one went to see it.
Yeah.
Like, the movie like bombed. It didn't really bomb, but it didn't make a ton of money.
Yeah.
And I think one of the major components to that is the fact that the hype for it was up here a year before the movie came out. Like,
Yeah.
like a lot of companies have been doing, a lot of studios have been like kind of doing this a lot lately, where you drop your first trailer like a whole year before the movie comes out.
Yeah, which
So that
is
and it's just there's no need for it because the whole point of a trailer is just to market the movie.
exactly.
So if you're releasing your trailers a year before the movie even comes out, I mean, how much is it really helping you? I mean, you're gonna get all this excitement up, and then a month later, it's gonna be gone.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
whereas it should be you build the excitement up for a couple months, and the excitement stays at a consistent level. Whereas with this, we're all already excited.
Yeah,
Everyone's been excited about it
super hype.
yeah, everyone's been pleading for the Snyder Cut ever since, I mean, the Justice League movie came out. So I just don't want the excitement and hype for the film to have that same effect of the Godzilla movie, where it's just like no one cared by the time it came out because you're constantly being teased all these little things.
Well,
Like,
I know with Star Wars, even like when The Force Awakens came out, and like, The Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, whatever. With those trailers, I mean, they were releasing those trailers like a couple months before the movie came out, like at most. And with that builds up a lot of anticipation. You get really hyped for it, and at the same time, you're not having to wait an entire year to actually see the movie. So,
right. And that's always a better way to do it.
oh yeah,
Like, I mean, with the Force Awakens one was probably like the biggest exception to this quote unquote rule because it had been how long since we had Star Wars,
yeah,
So then, because they did release their first trailer like a year or so in advance, but I mean, it was the first time Star Wars was going to be back
it's
for like
Star
10
Wars.
plus years, and
Yeah,
it's Star Wars.
yeah,
So like, I don't know, like it's I just don't. I'm hyped for the Snyder Cut, and I don't want. I want it to be successful. I want it to be good. Oh, first off, I
yeah,
hope it's good.
yeah.
Because I know a lot of people out there are just assuming that.
It's going to be a better version of it.
Yeah, but I mean, mainly they're like thinking that like Darkseid's gonna be like the main villain of the movie and like all this crazy stuff, and like it's not gonna be the case.
No.
Like Zack and Deborah have already confirmed that like yeah, Darkseid was gonna be in his version, and they had more things to do. They were just gonna tease him essentially because it was supposed to be. There was obviously back in the day there was supposed to be a sequel to the Justice League film that would follow up on that first one with Darkseid.
Yeah.
Darkseid was going to be teased a lot throughout this one, and I think we had word that the most Darkseid was in the film of Zack's original cut was mainly that flashback scene, which I think we covered on the first our
Yeah.
first episode too. Like I think Zack's initial, if I'm remembering this correctly, his initial plans for that scene was pretty much an hour long cut, an hour long fight scene for the flashback scene.
That still blows my mind. That's a long fight.
Yeah, that's like I mean, that's half of more than half of a lot of movies, 'cause a lot of movies are only
Yeah.
90 minutes long. So they were gonna have an hour-long flashback fight scene, whereas instead of it being Steppenwolf, it was Darkseid, which I'd love to see.
Yeah.
I hope that is in the Snyder Cut to some capacity, but, like, I feel like at best, that's gonna be everybody's biggest look at Darkseid in the movie.
Oh,
Because
for
I
sure.
think the whole movie is gonna be more like this teaser we got, where it's just, oh, he's on a painting, and that's it, and then maybe we get some dialogue from him
That'd
because
be
we
cool.
do know that the voice actor who did the voice of Darkseid confirmed that, like, yeah, he did the voice, and like
Yeah.
for the longest time we didn't even know that Darkseid was even confirmed to be in the movie, let alone have
Somebody.
actual dialogue.
Yeah. Speaking lines.
Yeah, so I mean, we know we should hear him talk, but I don't think it's gonna be anything like everyone's kind of hoping, and not everyone, but there's just been a lot of people I know who just think that they're gonna replace Steppenwolf with a CG Darkseid, and like that's gonna be the whole movie.
What if
You know?
what if his voice is really high pitched?
Like, guys,
Yeah.
uh,
Dark side.
I'm Darkseid. I don't know. That would probably take me out of it a little bit. I'll take me out of it a little
Just a
bit,
bit.
just a bit. But yeah, guys. So, what do you guys think? That's the real question. Let us know in the comment section below. Um, how much dark side do you think is going to be in the movie? Are you excited about it? Are you also kind of worried that they're gonna be showing a little bit too much, not necessarily spoiling stuff, but just showing too much, and then the hype train is gonna kinda trickle down a bit, so let us know in the comment section below. Alright, so our next topic today is going to be about the Jurassic World Dominion is going to be officially the first film to be going back into production since the pandemic. Um, I guess global safety and political issues aside, Rick, what do you think about them actually going back into production, and how did you like the other movies? But actually, before we get into that, I gotta say, Avatar. Just to make a quick correction, the Avatar sequel was the first to go back into production, but they were filming in New Zealand, who had essentially, for the most part, at one time eradicated the COVID virus there. They opened the entire economy back up. They had no cases for I forget forget how long it was before, but I think they went 2 weeks without new cases. So then they decided to open, just go back to business as usual. There were there were even videos of people online, like right when the midnight hour hit, they're all like hugging and whatnot afterward. It was a good video to watch. Unfortunately, they have actually seen a couple more cases since everything reopened. Um, but New Zealand's probably still been at this point the kind of mainstay and staple for just how they handled the whole pandemic and everything. And where that comes into the movies and how it affects movies is because there's most notably been a lot of films and a lot of TV series and everything that actually film in New Zealand. So them eradicating it first, or at least, for the most part, was good news for like movie fans and, studios and everything because they were able to go back into production there with little to no effort. And then Batman, the Batman film with Robert Pattinson, is also going to be going back into production because they're filming in the UK and they have also had a little bit better success with it, but not before Universal has. So, Rick, I ask you, what do you think about Jurassic World going back into production? And for one, this was almost news to me. I didn't even know that they had started production on this movie. If I'm being completely honest,
Yeah.
it completely, it completely went under the radar for me. I didn't know they even started filming. I knew they had been working on it. And did you ever see actually? Did you ever see the short film that they made, the Jurassic World short
I did
for
not.
the sequel? It was like something about Big Rock and like Escape from Big Rock or something.
Oh, okay.
It was kinda cool. They were in like a camping ground, and, like, I guess well, first, did you see the sequel, the to Jurassic World?
I did. I
You
did.
did? Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
and you liked it?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was entertaining.
Yeah?
A lot of cool visuals.
I didn't care for I don't know. I don't know how a lot of people, like, liked that one over the first Jurassic World
Oh, the first one
because
was much better.
I think the first one was a better movie. Yeah, it was almost you could almost say it had the Force Awaken effect,
Mhm.
that it was kinda just
People were excited.
well, that and the movie was just kind of like The Force Awakens was always kinda pooed on because it was pretty much shot for shot A New Hope, right?
Oh yeah,
Just different places, different story and whatever.
basically.
And then Jurassic World was, like, almost the same way, where it was just a lot of the same, very familiar, we'll
The
say.
vibe was
Yeah, and I just know when I watched the sequel to Jurassic World, I didn't care for the clone stuff, like, with you know what I mean? And, like, I
yeah,
didn't care for the I don't know, like, dinosaurs were really cheap. Like, remember they were, like, auctioning off dinosaurs?
yeah.
And,
That
like,
was
I mean, I think there were, like, bids for, like, only, like, $1,000,000 or something.
oh, yeah.
It's like,
It's nothing.
they spent more money making the Jurassic World movie than these people were bidding on real dinosaurs,
Yeah,
quote, unquote, "real dinosaurs," which is just like, so it's $1,000,000 for a Velociraptor, but it's gonna cost, $200,000,000 to make a movie about it.
why would you
Yeah.
want a velociraptor?
To weaponize them, dude, of course. To weaponize them. That was
Okay.
the whole plan with, that's what they wanted to do in the first one, remember?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
wanted to use them in the army and whatnot. And then I also thought, like, not to get into this, like, a review of Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom by any means, but, um, I did not like the whole, God, what was it? I don't even remember where I was going with it. But, if it comes back to me, I'll come back to it. Um, but what do you think about this are you looking forward to the sequel in general of this movie?
Uh, I think it'll be good. I mean, it's definitely something that's worth checking out. Uh, hopefully the third one's better than the second one. I like Chris
Right.
Pratt too, and I don't know, like it's not something that's like high up on my list to go check out, but I've always
Right.
liked Jurassic Park, so
Right, and I know a lot of people were kind of, like, wondering, well, how are they gonna go back into, production with doing those kind of things where, like, a lot of places haven't even opened up, grocery stores, you know what I mean? And, like, things like that, and,
yeah. Is that at Pinewood?
where they're filming this?
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure. I
yeah,
just know it's somewhere yeah, it says Pinewood.
yeah,
Yeah, so they're going to Pinewood. Um, but, I know, like, a lot of these studios' plans and, like, you can read more into them, but they're essentially gonna be testing everybody involved, which is a huge undertaking just because, I mean, there's hundreds of people on any given day who work on the film set.
yeah.
So it's a huge undertaking to make sure everybody's, keeping safety in mind as far as the pandemic goes.
Testing is not
And,
fun either.
yeah, I know that, like, they gotta shove that Q-tip
I
way
got
back in your
tested
thing.
and it was very unpleasant.
Right. And, but, supposedly they're gonna be testing everybody pretty much before they get on the plane, then when they land, they're gonna be essentially tested again and kept in quarantine, so they're all gonna be on a specific floor of a hotel or wherever.
That's
They're
intense.
gonna be tested again, kept in quarantine for X amount of days so that everybody knows everybody they're around will be safe, and they're obviously gonna have to pretty much stick with each other and not go out and do a bunch of stuff
Yeah,
just to, stay safe, and, I mean, with those protocols in mind, I mean, I guess I'd feel a lot more comfortable if I was working on a film set.
true.
Um, I just it's gonna cost a lot of money.
Be a lot of effort to go through as well,
Yep,
but I mean, like
mm,
you
a
said,
lot
the
a lot of
comfort
money.
level would be good because at
Yeah,
least you know you're not getting exposed. So
yeah, and I mean, that's the thing, like, there's been a lot even though a lot of places still haven't opened back up fully, I mean, they're trying to, and, like, a lot of places are gonna have different regulations than other places, but, like, the UFC, for instance, has been I mean, they've been having fights, that's 2 people
yeah,
literally in the same ring hitting each other, and
rubbing all over each other. Yeah,
yeah, and they just do a very similar thing where everyone gets tested, and then, they keep it in a quarantine, and then they fight, and then
they're not doing it
it
with crowds though, are they? There's
no.
been a lot of things that,
Yeah, I
yeah,
don't think so,
sporting
no.
event
Oh,
wise.
speaking of which, they actually said, what they consider doing for, like, other major sporting events like baseball and football and whatnot?
Hmm.
Um, they've thought about, like, digitally putting in a crowd. Like,
What?
when you played, like, a MLB video game or something,
Yeah,
and
you
you
just
have,
see
like, the
like
paper crowd, they've been thinking about doing that for, like, all the events, just to fill up the stadium for
so it
the
doesn't look
viewers.
empty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the home viewers.
Well, that's definitely gonna make me wanna watch it more, seeing those
Yeah.
digital,
No,
crowd
yeah.
patrons.
It would work, though.
Yeah,
Like, it would totally work, you would never know.
true,
Like, and they
true.
already use, like, some CGI in sporting events, like, they do the first down line,
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
mean, things like that. I don't know. I don't think it's necessary. Like, re truthfully speaking, I don't think they would need to have a full crowd. Like, I
Yeah.
think everyone gets the idea, but
Well,
I
yeah.
don't know. I could see how it would kinda help with the aesthetic.
It's like an
Um,
illusion almost.
right. Oh, yeah. I remember what I was gonna say about Jurassic World, the second one, and what I didn't like about it. I thought, a quick review here of the thing I didn't like about the movie. Like, Chris Pratt's character and Bryce Dallas Howard's character, they're, like, smart people, they're scientists and all this stuff, right? And they just wanna let the dinosaurs take over. They essentially want to do it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was, like, really stupid. Like, why are you gonna like, they know what's gonna happen if they, like, choose to save the dinosaurs. Like, they explicitly know, and they're, like, just cool with it. They're cool with
Yeah.
mass extinction, essentially. They're cool with ending the world as they know it just because they're looking at them as if they're, like, saving a cat.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like, I don't really think that's very smart. I mean, we've had all the other Jurassic World movies to know, like, this is not a good idea. Like, I don't know, it bothered me. 'Cause, like, I don't think anybody would rationally be like, Let's keep them. Yeah, let's just let them roam free. They're animals too, and they should.
Dinosaur rights.
Yeah, dinosaur. Right? It's like no, dude. They were lab rats. Like they were literally just genetically created. They weren't just like wild. It's a completely different thing. Like it's a completely different thing, and it's stupid. Like you don't let the big T Rexes just roam free. You know how that's
No,
gonna affect like humanity.
the
Like
ecosystems, like, I mean,
yeah, it was yeah. Not even humanity aside. You want to introduce giant dinosaurs?
apex
Yeah,
predators, like,
apex predators. So, like, one, humans obviously aside, but like humans aren't going to be the top of the food chain anymore. But you want to introduce these dinosaurs into the environment, it would completely mess with the current ecosystem of everything.
yeah.
Like, no longer is the lion the king of the jungle.
It
Like, you're going to have a T Rex around who needs
it
to eat a lot more food than a lion.
it
So,
F everything up.
it would yeah, it would l it's literally the end of the world as we know it. It would be a wh it's literally a whole new world, and that's not a good thing, and, like, that has always bothered me about that movie. It just didn't seem rational in any way, shape, or form.
No, no, it
Like
doesn't.
but anyway, moving on here, what do you guys think about Jurassic World going back into production? What do you think about, do you think it's a good idea for the studios to be going back into production, even with the extra safety precautions and all the testing and everything like that, do you think, maybe they should be holding off? Are you excited for movies to be going back into production? Because that is kind of the good thing. That's the silver lining with all of this is that at least we're getting more movie news, but like actually movies are being made again. So that's always good. Just let us know in the comment section below. All right, so our next topic today is going to be the DC Fandome event announcement. So it's essentially going to be Rick. I don't know how much you had to look into it, but this DC fandom event that they announced is going to essentially be a like mini like virtual Comic Con, right? So, and I'm wondering, like I have some questions about it more so than anything. A lot of news hasn't came out for it yet at this time. But I have a couple. I don't know quandaries, if you will, with it. Mainly just because, like, I'm wondering if this is going to be like, is this just a direct result of the pandemic? And because Comic Con itself, like San Diego Comic Con, which is where typically this event would have been held, right? DC would have just done everything that essentially that they're going to be doing now. They would have just been doing this at San Diego Comic Con. So I'm wondering if, and I'd like to get your thoughts on this here in just a little bit, if you think this is going to be more of a mainstay. Like, is this going to be something that DC and maybe other studios are going to do going forward, where they're just going to hold their own events like this? Like, kind of like Star Wars does just their own event. Disney does D23. Um, and it's just they market all of their own properties. And I'm curious about that and like what kind of ramifications it would have if they were to do that, the ramifications it would have on San Diego Comic Con. And like because I would personally I would like them to do this kind of thing every year. I think this would be great. But at the same time, I don't think it would ever be able to replace the experience of actually, like, if you're lucky enough to be in Hall H at San Diego Comic Con for a DC or Marvel panel or any panel that you're excited for, I don't think obviously none of these virtual events would ever be able to replace that. So as much as I like that they're doing it, especially in light of San Diego Comic Con being canceled. I wonder how obviously, like, I wonder how it's all gonna be set up, and I also just I'm really curious if it's gonna be something going forward, like a permanent mainstay. Because 'cause I've said for years, Rick, and I don't know about you, but I've said for years that, like, none of these studios, none of them really need to go to Comic-Con.
No.
Like, and it's a big endeavor for these studios to actually get to Comic-Con because a lot of the times these films are maybe they're in the middle of production. And I feel like I'll get more into that in a minute, but that's probably the best case scenario for these studios and actually getting the talent out to Comic Con. But a lot of the times, which this just makes it even harder, is that these films have already completed production, and these actors could be potentially working on a completely different movie with a completely different studio. So, DC, like let's say Robert Pattinson has finished filming the Batman, right? So they're gonna have a panel for the Batman, or they
Yeah.
want to have a panel for the Batman at San Diego Comic-Con because marketing. But if Robert Pattinson has started work on another film with a different studio, he might be unable to attend. It's just a
Yeah.
simple fact,
It's a
and
lot of organizing.
it is, and it's like people have gone on record stating just like how difficult it is, especially for the bigger cast, like getting the Avengers. Okay,
Oh, man.
even pre like Endgame, where there's all 40 characters in the Marvel universe are in that movie. Like even just doing a panel with just the core Avengers cast. I mean, that's like what 6, 7 people, all with jobs and lives that
Yeah. That you can just hope can make it out to San Diego and
right for like an hour long panel.
yeah.
And it's like so. I like I said, I've said for years that like really, I could see like these studios just not doing it, because like when it comes down to it too, you don't get much out of it other than publicity, right?
Yeah.
You go there, you do the panel. It's great for everybody who's there. I think there's only I forget what the exact capacity of Hall H is, for instance. And Hall H is where like the big panels are done. So if you
Yeah.
ever see, you know, on YouTube or anything like these post events where you have all the Avengers out on the stage, and the fans often get to do like Q&As and things like that. That's just done in one convention room.
Hall H.
Yeah, and it's called Hall H. But I think there's only like I don't know, it's like 1 to 6,000 people I think can fit into it, and there's a lot more than actually attend Comic-Con, we'll say. All right, so San Diego Comic-Con itself, San Diego Convention Center, has been for years now just way too small to handle the event anymore. Just
Oh,
with the
yeah.
amount of people who actually attend Comic-Con and want to attend Comic-Con, it's incredibly expensive just for regular people like you and I to even attempt to go there, because the inflation that happens for just getting a hotel room
Oh, for
is insane. So, like, not only you gotta pay, like, a ton of money to get into Comic-Con itself, but you're paying just a metric F ton of money if you wanna get a
metric F
hotel.
ton.
Yeah, if you wanna get a hotel or anything close to the convention center, you I hope you
It
have the money.
I was gonna say, it doesn't seem inexpensive by any means, and, like, anything and everything there even that you purchase or do this or that, I mean, I'm sure they try to milk every penny out of
Oh,
you.
yeah, everything is just incredibly expensive. It's
Yeah,
incredibly expensive.
and it gets bigger every year, so, like you said, capacity-wise, like, it's only
Mhm.
becoming more and more difficult.
No, exactly, and I mean, even just never mind how difficult it is for the studios to get everybody together, and the amount of people that are there, just like fans and everybody attending. Like literally, there is more and more like comic book related material coming out on a regular basis
Yeah,
than there has ever been before. So not only is it like super crowded in the convention center for fans, but it's super crowded as far as presentations go anymore.
I
Like,
can imagine.
I mean, it's big enough for something like DC to have its own convention, like they're doing right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Star Wars has its own convention. Like, and Star Wars is probably the smallest because there's normally they got like one movie coming out. Maybe they're talking about a couple books.
yeah,
Who
yeah,
knows? But like D23, Disney has they have enough content coming out just themselves to have their own convention.
yeah.
So there's just so many moving parts with getting all these, studios and the actors and everybody out there just to show a trailer to something and maybe do a Q&A session.
Yeah, just answer some questions.
Yeah, and like the thing that like I don't know, just kind of really dawned on me, or not really dawned on me, just like so you're in Hall H, you go through all the stuff, you get there, you see the trailer, and the only thing that you really get out of it in the end is you got to see it first in the convention center with everybody,
Yeah,
because 9 times out of 10 anymore, anything that they show in Hall H is uploaded to YouTube like 5 minutes later.
yeah, yeah, I've
So,
seen it
like,
all.
you go through all the hassle of doing everything, and it's great, and it's a great experience if you're actually there. Like I said, nothing will ever take away from the experience of actually being there at Hall H. Like, like when Loki, when Tom Hiddleston came out, did you see that, like, from years ago when Tom Hiddleston came out in his full Loki garb? and was like addressing the fans as if
Yeah,
he
as
was
Loki.
Loki, and like you can't like watching that on YouTube is great, but like nothing will ever take away from that experience. And like those people there, they got to experience that.
Like Loki in the flesh.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just, like, a lot of fun. So, like, and a lot of times too, like, a lot of the actors, I gotta say, like, some of them are, like, really happy to be there. It's also, like, just a hassle for other people to be there. So, like, it's always great when, like, Tom Hiddleston, like, he put a lot of, like, he had fun, right? He
Yeah,
had fun with
he
it,
enjoyed
and,
it.
like, yeah, and I mean, I remember, like, Ezra Miller was, like, the Flash, in the Justice League and everything. When they were doing Comic-Con for Justice League, he was dressed up and, like, walking the floor himself, and, like, you didn't know who he was because he was wearing a mask and everything, but, like,
Yeah,
some people have more fun with it than other people do,
yeah.
and that's not kinda just something that obviously comes with it by any means, but as far as a DC Fandom event, like, I'm excited for it because everybody will get to see it. Like, it's free, which is great. Like, they're doing it for free. So everybody's just gonna have it just be able to access it and watch it at any point in time. They said it's gonna essentially have, like, I don't know, like, these virtual rooms that you can go in. So, like, you're gonna be able to, like, if you wanna watch the kids' stuff, you can go and click on the kids' stuff, and then they'll just kinda have things happening, I guess. So I think it's gonna be, like, you go to the web page, they're gonna have the event going on, like, maybe, the Stargirl panels going on, so if you clicked on the DC TV, you just see whatever's happening there, and I like that setup and everything, like, seems nice. One thing I do hope, though, Rick, is that you can kinda pick and choose, you know what I mean? Like, because you'll be able to watch it all live, right? But, like,
Yeah.
I'm hoping they have, like a catalog of things that have already happened so you can, like,
Go back and,
if
like,
yeah, if you missed it, you could just go back and watch it. I
you
don't
don't
know.
have to see it live.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna have that sort of, like, infrastructure in place, for and during the event,
You'd think they would.
but, yeah, it'd be a lot of work depending on the traffic. I mean, I can't imagine the servers would be handling it too well. But, I mean, I would assume, like, just like the trailers that get released at Comic-Con, I'm sure everything will come up on YouTube about 5 minutes after it's, been made its debut during
Yeah.
the DC Fandome event. Fandome. Is there anything like you're excited to see at the Fandom event though? Because I know like this here on EW.com. This is where I'm getting this article here, but like they've made more announcements of things that are going to be there. Like they're going to have Lucifer there. They're going to have Wonder Woman 84 there, which I talked about in the video before. Like Wonder Woman's coming out like a month or two after this, so like at best we're going to get our final trailer. I would
Yeah,
imagine for
yeah.
that. I don't really know how much they're gonna be able to show, if anything, from the Snyder Cut. I mean,
You'd
who
think they
kn
would, I mean,
Yeah, but I mean, it just depends on how much they've been able to actually work on it. I mean, they
yeah.
just technically, officially began, the post-production work that has needed to be done on it, and I don't know, I don't know how realistic it would be for the same with, like, the Batman, right? Like, how much do they actually have to show?
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I was gonna say I'm excited for is anything having to do with the Batman, but I think the whole idea of, like, a publisher like DC doing their own thing is actually, like you said, I think it's better because, like you said, Star Wars has it. There's all kinds of different conventions out there for one specific thing. And I think that would allow them to concentrate a little better on the content as well because it's not just so thrown together or anything.
right.
Um, but yeah, there should be some good stuff, I think.
No, yeah, like, absolutely, and, like, so, like, and this is how, like, the virtual room, I guess, is gonna be, like, set up, so you just kinda, like I don't know, I'm curious to see how it's all set up.
Yeah.
Like, I'm definitely excited for it, and, I mean, DC, like we said, they definitely have enough stuff to where they could hold their own event. They could do this themselves every year, and
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
the one thing I'm really curious to see is if this gonna be a mainstay, and if it's gonna cause DC to, like, because that's the thing too, you gotta think, if this is, like, super successful, why would they go through the effort of doing the Comic Con thing anymore?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? Like, and that's the thing, like, it's kind of a bummer for Comic Con
Well,
because,
they're like losing it.
yeah, they would miss out on all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure they'd still have some presence there, like, especially for probably the smaller stuff, though, really.
You'd think they'd have to.
I feel like what would end up happening is that, I mean, coordination aside, like, if Comic-Con was gonna come out, in July or whatever, like it usually does, if they did this event, you know, before or after, they could have completely different things to show versus what they could in July, right? Like, if they were
Yeah.
to do this in December, they might have more stuff to show from, like, maybe something they didn't announce, right? But they might end up like, one negative thing that could happen is maybe they hold off on, like, a big major thing, like, the Batman, for instance, they do on their own platform, and
Yeah.
maybe they send the CW stuff, like, nothing against the CW stuff by any means, but, like, it's obviously not as big as the Batman movies and,
Yeah.
the Justice League movies and things like that. So maybe they, like, kind of focus their efforts for, like, smaller things at Comic-Con if it's maybe a little easier for them to, I don't know, coordinate schedules and do some things with that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm definitely excited for it. I don't know. Is there anything you're wanting to see out of it though, other than like Batman? Because I know they're also going to be having like Shazam's gonna have some sort of
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what we don't know yet, but they just said like Shazam's gonna be involved. I think they mentioned Black Adam, and then
The Suicide Squad will be interesting.
yeah, and that was one thing too. And I made a video about this before when this first came announced. I kinda fell asleep on Suicide Squad. I
Yeah.
completely forgot all about like, it just slipped my mind. I didn't forget about it. I've been excited for it because they got James Gunn to come in and do it,
That'll be good.
which is yeah, I mean, James Gunn just I mean, his work on Guardians alone just
Oh, he
kinda goes
killed it.
to show you that,
Yeah.
like, he is a perfect choice for an ensemble movie, like, and I could just he's got a great aesthetic for it. Like, I know
Oh, yeah.
so the kind of butchering that they did with the original Suicide Squad movie,
Oh,
was k
gosh.
I almost didn't even expect there to be a sequel to it.
Is it
It
a sequel?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a sequel, not a reboot. 'Cause, I mean, they
Interesting.
have and I know a lot of people are confused about that, but
I was.
well, yeah, but they have, like, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn is back in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, like, so
So it's not totally different character.
yeah, so, I mean, I don't know what kind of liberties they gave him because 'cause I'm sure Warner Brothers was just like, "Go have fun. Anything you wanna do, James,
Yeah.
you do it." 'Cause that's what, essentially Kevin Feige let him do over at Marvel with, Guardians of the Galaxy, and those turned out pretty good.
I thought they were great.
Yeah, those turned out pretty good. They're, I guess side note, those are probably those are probably some of my least favorite. Not that they're not good, but,
Yeah.
like, people were like I don't know, people just love that first Guardians movie, and some people think it's, like, the best of the Marvel movies.
Nah,
I feel
I
like
don't know
those
about
people
that.
haven't watched, like, Winter Soldier, but,
You and Winter Soldier, man.
dude, it's a great movie.
You love that Winter Soldier.
Dude, Winter Soldier is dude, it's, like, the best one, alright? Because it's not just a comic book movie,
Yeah.
It is a political thriller at its
Political
core,
thriller.
and, I don't know, just all the fight scenes and just wait I don't know, it was
Yeah.
great. Great movie. But anyway, I'm also excited to, I'm very excited to, potentially see some actual movement on, Black Adam
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I actually am I really love Shazam, and, you haven't seen Shazam, right?
I have not.
You need to watch Shazam. You need to watch Shazam.
Black Adam's gonna be super.
But I'm excited for yeah, Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
I was just about to ask that. Is that, like, confirmed now officially?
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
was he was cast to play it like 9 years ago or something. Like it's
I think he'd be great.
they've made like I mean, the good news is with that movie is they may have made like very little progress on it over the course of the announcement that
Yeah.
Dwayne was going to be playing Black Adam and everything, but they at least haven't had as much development problems as like the Flash movie has, to where I mean they've gone through like 5 directors right now, and that movie was supposed to come. It was like slated to come out in 2018, if I remember
It's
correctly.
cursed.
So, like, I mean, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm hoping we get some more news about Black Adam and Shazam, and they did mention that they mentioned Shazam and everything on here. So I don't, like I said, I'm not really sure what kind of footage or anything that they could possibly show us. Just for a lot of the stuff because like they haven't
Yeah.
even began production on Black Adam or Shazam 2 or anything like that, and like with the pandemic, the Batman had to stop filming because I'm sure we probably would have got a good teaser
Oh, yeah,
of
yeah,
Batman.
by now.
Yeah, well, for Comic-Con,
Yeah.
because Comic-Con would have been happening next month
Yeah.
had none of this happened, had it not get canceled and whatever, and then Batman would have been filming. I mean, they missed like 3 months of production at this point, so like
Pandemic was nuts.
they would have easily been able to at least throw together a sizzle reel, if not a teaser trailer.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm kind of expecting, if anything, to see maybe definitely not like a teaser or anything from the Batman, but I would expect maybe some official like pictures of like the Riddler,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Penguin, so maybe more. I would say maybe a sizzle reel of some kind, just like maybe a behind the scenes kind of sizzle reel.
Yeah,
Because I
just
like I said, I just
production.
doubt they're gonna have anything that they could have done any sort of post production on
Yeah, yeah, to where it's,
to
like,
actually show.
trailer worthy.
Yeah, to actually show anybody at all. Like even for like a sizzle reel, like, I don't think they would even. I mean, who knows though? Everyone's been working from home, so maybe like throughout all this time, if they've had all this whole event planned out, maybe they could have had Matt Reeves just like work on a sizzle reel or something, put some production time
Put it
into
together.
it. Just get
Yeah.
us something, get us something to show. So I don't know. I'm excited for it, and I definitely anything. I really love the Lucifer show, so I don't know if you've ever seen that.
No, but I've actually wanted to. I thought that was a really cool concept for a show.
Dude, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's kind of as far as the show goes, it's like it can kind of suffer. Sorry, it can kind of suffer at times because it goes through like a kind of police procedural to where like it's like crime of the week kind of thing,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then the overarching like plot though is like the supernatural stuff with the Lucifer character, right?
Yeah.
But it's like you know, he goes out, he helps the detective person do like solve a crime, and then throughout, the
Oh, nice
episodes, you
guy.
learn more about the stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the thing that makes the show is the guy who plays him, Tom Ellis, as Lucifer.
Mhm.
He kills it, dude. Like
Yeah.
he
I've seen
makes it,
trailers
yeah, he
and
makes
yeah.
it worth watching. Like it's a great show.
Sounds like he's a pretty nice guy for the most part, Lucifer.
You know what? This one's a pretty good guy. You know what I mean?
Helpful.
Do you know what? He's misunderstood, dude.
Of
He's you know
course.
what I mean? People forget that Lucy here was an angel himself, okay?
Yeah,
People forget
fallen
that.
angel.
Yeah, like and in the show, he was kinda I mean, in I guess the Christian lore or whatever lore you wanna take from it, he was forced upon being the king of hell, you know? It's always been like a curse, right? More so than anything because he rose against the heavens or whatnot. It's the same concept here.
Yeah.
Like it was something he was forced to do. He doesn't like doing it, you know?
No, and
Right.
I'm surprised there's not more controversy around that show with it being called Lucifer. I mean, but it's been pretty popular.
And it's really popular. I mean, if Fox canceled it, then Netflix picked it up to do one last season,
Yeah.
which turned into like 3 seasons because it was so popular on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, so, which is great because I mean, like I said, it's a great show. I can't recommend it enough. Go watch Lucifer. So, I don't know, but that pretty much covers it for all we had on the DC Fandome event. So, I don't know. Like I said, there's not a lot of news out yet, but just let us know in the comment section below what you are hoping to see at the Fandom event. Is it a Batman trailer? Is it more, Shazam stuff? Is it more comic book related things? And do you think this will be more of a mainstay? Do you think this is going to be something that more studios like Marvel and whatnot are going to be actually doing going forward, where they're hosting their own events as opposed to maybe putting as much effort into getting everything together for San Diego Comic-Con? Whatever it is, let us know in the comments section below. All right, so our next main topic today is going to be the release of the Star Wars Squadrons trailer. Before we get into actually the gameplay and everything that we saw in the trailer, I gotta say, one, I was excited that they're actually making Star Wars games because I feel like ever since EA made the deal with Lucasfilm, we only got Battlefront. Like that was it. And it
Yeah.
sucked. The first one was a terrible game. Like I don't care what anybody says, it was not a good game. Like it was cool that it was Star Wars, but it sucked, right? Then Battlefront 2 comes out. More of the same. Like that's all we got. Like EA made this.
That was a good game.
Yeah, Battlefront 2 was good. But like they make this exclusive deal with Lucasfilm, and we're only getting Battlefront, and then, like, Battlefront 2 was just a better Battlefront, like,
Yeah.
which is good, I guess, but it's just more of the same, and then finally, years later, we get, Fallen Order, okay? And it's like which is a great game, like,
Yeah.
I'm not complaining that we got Fallen Order by any means at all, but I just think it was a really, like, bad idea on maybe not well, for one, it was probably a bad idea to give EA the exclusive rights to anything, especially something as big as Star Wars, but, like, that being aside, EA has just kinda squandered having the rights, in my opinion, because I don't it's been, like, 10 years, I think, since this deal was signed. It's been something crazy like that, and, like, all we've gotten out of it was 3 games,
Yeah, that's
and 2
stupid.
of them are in the same franchise, and, like, so really, we've gotten 2 games, and I think, like, that is just terrible. If you take the mobile game out of it, like, yeah, Galaxy of Heroes, I'm not talking mobile. No one cares about mobile. I did play that game. But that aside, um, I just I'm glad that we're getting a game, a Star Wars game rather, but it comes with hesitations because at least for me, Rick, like in Battlefront, right? The thing that like was always kind of weird feeling for me was the way that just like piloting worked.
Oh,
Like it
yeah.
was always fun and it's always cool to actually like pilot the fighters, right? Like it's a fun time.
Yeah, yeah. Football
However
game.
short-lived and actually in the games themselves, at least as they stand. But my only kind of hesitation with the game is that I hope they make flying and everything a lot more fluid
Yeah,
than it is in
like the physics of it.
yeah, in the Battlefield game because I always for whatever reason it never meshed right with me. Like I'm sitting there and for one like I don't know why I'm doing it, like, on a controller because I play it on a computer, so I
Yeah.
don't know why I'm doing that, but it just that which might be why it doesn't feel good on PC, maybe that's what it is,
Yeah.
like, maybe it feels better being able with a controller. I haven't really tried to really know, but, you had a chance to watch this trailer, Rick, so what did you think of it, and are you excited for it?
Yeah, I watched the trailer and I watched, like, the gameplay and all that, and, I personally thought it was awesome. I mean, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I thought it was cool how they're kind of taking this and making it, like, specifically for, like, X-Wings and TIE fighters and all the other ships and all that. Um, and I thought too, like, there's little things like you can customize your pilots, you can choose whether you're on, like, the Rebel Alliance or the Empire, and, I don't know, I mean, as long as the gameplay is good, like you were mentioning, and fluid, I think it'd be pretty good.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I'm always excited for anything like Star Wars, I love Star Wars, so, I mean, it's fun. Um I don't know. I just have my hesitations because obviously 1, it's EA, but then 2, like, this is kinda nitpicky, but at the same time, like, I was just complaining about how we've only gotten essentially 2 games out of EA, 2 Star Wars games, and this is essentially a gameplay feature that's in Battlefront, and they just made it its own game. Like, if you really wanna nitpick it, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're doing the aerial combat stuff that you can do in Battlefront, but you're doing it exclusively in this game. So it's nothing really super new and inventive by any means. Like Jedi Fallen Order was a lot better
Oh,
like game and just no, I'm not gonna say it's better than this game, but it was a better concept. It was better in concept, and it was more exciting as a fan to play Jedi Fallen Order and be hyped for that as opposed to just be hyped for this, which, like I said, is just a pretty much just a glorified version of the aerial combat essentially that you can already do in Battlefront.
yeah, yeah.
Like, not that it won't be fun, because I'm sure it probably as long as the gameplay is, like, has good fluidity and everything looks good and it's just I'm sure it could be fun to play. I just I have my hesitation. I like,
Yeah.
it's cool that it's here, and I'm glad we're getting another Star Wars
Be
game.
cool to try, like, a demo of it just to see what it's like.
Yeah, and, like, I am curious, like I said, about how it'll feel on PC because, like, I don't know, it's never felt too good, like, doing this kind of stuff on PC, unfortunately, like,
I feel like you
piloting
almost
things.
need a controller for that sort of thing.
Yeah, it just makes it difficult trying to do, like because when you're in, like, a spaceship, you have, like, full 360 aerial combat, so you have a whole other, like, level of an XY axis that you have to control up
Yeah.
as opposed to driving a car where you're moving left and right. you got to go up and down vertically in the plane. So it always feels kind of weird. It'd be really cool to have dude, like doing this in VR,
That would be
like
awesome.
doing it in VR with like a pilot cockpit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Like on an Oculus or something.
yeah, I mean, I'd be on board with that. That'd be
That would
super
be cool. You
fun.
could, like, look around the cockpit
Yeah.
and,
I mean, even without being in like a fighter jet cockpit kind of like thing to use like that kind of control, just if they had VR support for it, which I'm not sure if they really do, that actually could be something that would actually get me a lot more excited for it. I
I
think that would
think they
actually
should
be,
make that.
yeah, they should definitely make that, because that actually would seems like it'd be pretty fun. So, but yeah. Question is, guys, what do you think? Were you excited for the Star Wars Squadrons trailer? Are you a little bit hesitant because it's EA and because it's kind of just like a rehash of things that we already have? Whatever it is, just let us know in the comment section below. All right, so our final segment today is going to be a little bit different. There were a lot of news stories that we wanted to cover, but we didn't want to really focus too much time on all of them. So we are going to rapid fire through a series of news topics that came out today. So, Rick, are you ready
I'm
to
ready to go.
rapid fire through some topics today?
I'm ready to go.
All
Let's do
right,
it.
let's do it. Our first rapid fire question, or not question, but our first rapid fire topic is that the Oscars are going to be changing their like eligibility for the films being considered for nomination to specifically include, just some facet of diversity amongst the nominees and everything, and like, for minorities and whatnot and everything like that, which is a good thing. Like, overall, there's definitely,
Yeah.
especially in Hollywood, there's absolutely needed to be far more inclusion. Um, so like overall, this is a good thing in my opinion. There hasn't been a lot of news and information as to what that's going to mean. Like what kind of criteria is a movie going to need to have in order to be considered for rewards consideration at this point?
Yeah.
Because I don't know, that's kind of like my only fear with it, Rick, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. Um, my only worry is that a film that is, let's say a movie comes out and it's the best movie of the year, but it was an all white cast. Like, hands
Yeah.
down, though, unanimously, everybody's like, this movie is the best movie ever made. We'll say, could it still be nominated for something if it's like an all white cast, like, or if it's an all black cast or whatever it
Yeah.
is? Like, is I don't want a movie to be not considered for, rewards in any way if there's not, just because it didn't have diversity. So that's probably would be my only fear with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like, so, but I mean, otherwise though, the fact that they're actually going to be going out of their way to actually, and not so much endorse, but just have the foresight and everything to go for considering more diverse films that like need to be
Oh, yeah.
like that's all good. It's all
I think
good
it's
stuff.
great.
And like, I know, just if anyone's like wondering and wants to read more about it, like this article in general was on the New York Times, where it's like the initial announcement came out, and then the BAFTAs were already they already have BAFTAs are pretty much like the UK's like Oscars and everything, British acting award show. And they you can pull this up and look at it too, but they have their own diversity and inclusion policies. And if you read through some of these, I'm not going to read them all right now, especially since this is like rapid fire. But just in case anyone's wanting to know, like they've already been doing like diversity and inclusion and have policies for it. And I read through them all, and as long as if the Oscars are going to like kind of do something more along these lines, which I think there was reports out saying that they're kind of looking at how the BAFTA does it to kind of make their own rules for it here in the Oscars, then it's my one fear was just talking about. I don't think would be a problem, because as you go through a lot of these, it's almost like 9 out of 10 films pretty much qualify for all of these kind
Yeah.
of like fields that they have. So it's good, and I just hope that, like I said, some things don't, get excluded in an effort to include more.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be my only worry. So we just have to see going forward how that kind of goes. Just let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. And our next rapid fire segment, Rick, is going to be some sad news.
Yeah.
Bilbo Baggins himself, Ian Holm, He passed away, so I just wanted to comment on that. That was he was really only known for. I mean, he didn't do like a ton of acting outside. I guess like post Lord of the Rings and everything. He didn't do too much in like the acting
He was an
world.
alien.
He was, and he was really good in Alien. Alien was supposedly the very first movie I ever watched. Fun fact.
Good
Like,
choice.
that's what my mom said, like, the first movie I've seen was Alien, which might explain why I love Alien and Aliens so much.
Yeah.
Not so much any other Alien film, but
I
I'll
like
defend
Prometheus.
Prometheus. I'll defend it.
Prometheus was good.
I'll defend it. People hate that movie.
I think it's great.
I liked it. It wasn't executed as well as it could have been,
Yeah.
but I liked it. But yeah, so sad news, from Ian Holm passed away. Um, he was great in Fifth Element too. I forgot he was in that. You
Yeah.
remember in Fifth Element? I love Fifth Element too. It's a
Oh,
great
that's a
movie.
great movie. Yeah.
Great movie. So yeah, sad news. But I also some of the stuff I loved him as Bilbo and like those scenes where you remember the scene where he gets all like angry with the ring and then like
Yeah.
this dude like, I love that scene. Like just the way he like carried himself as Bilbo Baggins, I always just thought was really good.
That was a really creepy scene, honestly.
It was, and it just comes out of nowhere and gets
Yeah.
you. But
I was like, whoa.
that's the thing too. Like he was really good at like doing something like that and like having the energy to do that, but then turned it off right away and there was like all happy go lucky Bilbo again.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. So sad to see that he's gone. But I mean, I loved everything he was in. So
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. And then our next topic is
Oh, gosh.
AMC theaters initially came out and said, this is like a twofold topic, even though I have this article up here on Variety, okay? It says that they are going to be requiring guests to wear masks. And this is them backtracking off of like just, I think it was the same day they came out and announced that they were not going to be requiring people to wear masks. And looks like there was a lot of yelling and a lot of backlash about that. So then they kind of backtracked their statements and came out and said, okay, we're going to require it. And everyone's going to have to wear a mask if when the movie theaters open back up,
Yeah.
which, I mean, is probably a good thing. I mean,
Stop the spread
yeah, I
or
mean,
help with it.
that's the thing. I mean, you gotta make sure everybody feels safe, and that's kind of the biggest thing. Like, if
It's
wearing,
not about you necessarily. It's about,
yeah,
being courteous to other people.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like the way I look at it, dude, is like if you don't want to wear a mask, then don't wear the mask. But if you're gonna go somewhere that is requiring you to wear a mask, then just put on the mask.
Just wear the mask.
Don't make a scene about it and like just. I never understand that it's literally just a little mask, dude.
It's
Like
easier to put the mask on than it is to complain about it.
it is like people put so much more effort into like causing a scene and saying like it's their freedom. It's like no, it's not, man. It's not infringing on your freedom. It's not. It's a health issue. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. That is one thing that just bothers me is how some people are treating the mask thing. Like I'll never get it. It's not like they're saying you have to wear a hazmat suit if you want to come in.
No,
Like
exactly.
I mean, all the mask is going to do is help prevent the spread and keep you safe and keep anyone else safe. So I think it's fine, especially if they keep the social distancing and everything off. And I'm sure you'll still be able to eat your popcorn. Like you'll probably just have to take your mask off, eat your
Yeah,
popcorn, put your mask on. Like
just a common courtesy
yeah,
at this
it's
point,
just
really.
it's fine. So I mean, I definitely think it's a good move. Like with anything, if you're gonna sit here and cram a bunch of people into a room together, it'd probably be a better idea if you're gonna wear a mask.
Yeah.
Like, especially and also Alamo Draft House also came out and said the same thing. They're going to be requiring masks for everybody. AMC is going to be requiring masks for everybody. It's just a smart thing to do. Everybody should be doing it. If you don't want to wear it, don't wear it. But then don't get mad when you can't go to places.
Yeah.
I think it's that simple. Like I don't know. What are you more comfortable going back to a movie theater with people wearing masks, and would you be less comfortable if people if you were in there with a bunch of people who weren't wearing masks?
Yeah. To me, at least, I don't see many people wearing masks anyways, and it kind of sucks because the numbers keep going up.
Yeah.
As long as I've got mine on, I'm cool and wash my hands and
Right. No, exactly. Yeah.
lead by example.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. It's not so much. It's not. It doesn't just come down to being a political or health issue, man. It's just like do what you can to make other people feel safe,
Yeah,
and
it's
then
not
try to
hard.
protect yourself too. Like, cause I mean, there's been so many like reports of the people out there who were against wearing the mask, and they go somewhere and with a big group of people, and then they come down with it.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
like it can happen, and it doesn't matter if you're for or against. The coronavirus ain't gonna discriminate, man.
No,
Like,
no.
if you're gonna get it if you get it, and if putting the mask on in a big public place can help you or help someone else not get it,
Yeah.
then just do it. Just do it.
Just do it.
It's not a big deal.
Nike.
Not a big
Just
deal.
do it.
Just do it. All right, then our next topic is going to be Netflix is buying a Sundance Film Festival favorite. It's called Giving Voice. I'm not familiar with the film at all, but the main reason I wanted to cover this is just because it just goes to show, Rick, that Netflix has been taking a lot more, not so much risk, but they've been taking a lot of like steps to like legitimize their brand and have more films like acquired under their brand that
Yeah.
are more prestigious, if you will. Like they went
Yeah.
out of their way and gave Martin Scorsese a buttload of money to do The Irishman and let
Mhm.
him, let him do his thing on that. And Marty may not have wanted it on Netflix, but he was able to get his movie made, and then Netflix got to keep it there. Then they had Marriage Story come out, and
Yeah.
they had that one come out. So they've just been taking a lot of steps to, really solidify them as a serious platform for their content, as opposed to it being kind of what it's been known for in a lot of ways, is just like, oh, it got dumped on Netflix,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
probably garbage.
Uh,
Like they've been definitely taking steps to make that not be what they're known for. Like
Yeah.
they're making, they're trying to make their content, be at a little bit of a higher standard, which is good because everybody has Netflix, everybody loves Netflix, even if it has a ton of content you don't even know exists because they can't market anything. Like they
Yeah.
literally, I don't know why they don't market their own products. So you never know when something's on Netflix until someone tells you.
Yeah.
Like,
Just word
and
of mouth.
yeah, that's all they rely on is word of mouth, and they have such a huge catalog and library of films on there that you'd think they'd have some better interface for, even if it's marketing within their own app. I've never understood why they don't have like just a section you can go to in the Netflix app that says like new and upcoming movies, and you just can just browse new ones. And like, I mean, it's surprisingly they've been around for so long that they don't even have a super great interface as far as cataloging all their stuff. Like, so it's just kind of weird to me, some capacity.
Yeah.
So I think this is cool. I want Netflix to succeed, and
I agree.
they're good. Like, they always get a lot of weird, obscure stuff too. Like in lieu of getting a kind of being a dumping ground for a lot of content, they do get a lot of obscure stuff that you would never probably see anywhere else.
Oh,
So,
for sure.
and then much for a lot of these, independent films too, like that would be shown in the festival, they're giving, these independent filmmakers a platform for millions to be able to see their movie. To where like a lot of these things at like an independent film festival, they'll never get picked up, and the only place they will play is at these film festivals,
Yeah.
which is a shame. And if more of these streaming companies will go out and actually kind of acquire a lot of these more festival films, that'd be really great for the film fan community, and especially the creators of all the content. So I hope this is something we actually see more of going forward, and it'd be really great if more platforms actually did things like this, and even just to have like a curated section even of like festival indie films that like you can only see here. And like I think that would be pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
So all right, our next topic is going to be something interesting, Rick. So Ezra Miller, we talked about this a little bit before when we were talking about DC fandom. Ezra Miller's Flash movie has kind of been in a form of development hell for some years now, and they've gone through like 5 different directors, I think. I don't know. The movie was supposed to come out like in 2 years ago. And the most recent director who's been attached to the film has been the It director, Andy Muschietti. And a little bit of news came out from his sister, Barbara Muschietti. Um, I don't speak Italian, so I can't translate
That's
this.
yeah.
But what it does say is someone questioned on her Instagram. She answered a question about referring to is someone asked if Ray Fisher was going to be Ray Fisher played Cyborg in the Justice League, and they asked if Ray Fisher was going to be in the Flash movie, and she said yes. So,
Theo.
yeah, so apparently, I mean, Ray Fisher himself has pretty much came out and said that there's been no movement on anything revolving or involving Cyborg since Justice League. They were initially going to be doing their own Cyborg movie, and they at some point had plans just to have Cyborg actually do some sort of like buddy cop kind of film with the Flash. So I'm wondering if this is news to Ray Fisher in any capacity, that maybe Andy has been messing with the script and making some changes to actually include Cyborg, because I would have to assume that since this movie has been in development for multiple years now, that Ray Fisher would have probably known at some point if he was going to be included into a film.
Yeah.
So this is kind of cool because I really liked the Cyborg character played by Ray Fisher in the Justice League movie. I thought he did a good job. I would have wanted to see more of him. I don't know if necessarily we needed a whole Cyborg movie,
Yeah.
but I do want to see more of Ray Fisher playing Cyborg. So I think this is good. Do you think this is good, Rick? Do you expect to see Cyborg in this?
I think there's a pretty good chance. I mean, the words are right there themselves.
This is
Um,
true.
yeah, so I think that'll definitely be going down.
Yeah, I think another thing that might make this before we go to the next one that would make this seem pretty plausible is that when the CW did their crossover, most recent crossover event, and they actually threw in the Ezra Miller as the Flash cameo into the CW Flash crossover thing.
Yeah.
Uh, Ezra's Flash does reference Ray Fisher's Cyborg in his short line. So, I mean, he didn't have to say that. He didn't have to reference, Cyborg in any
Yeah.
way, shape, or form. And they went out of the way to do it. So that might be like our first actual nod of Cyborg still being kind of relevant to the Flash story. May have been from Ezra Miller back in the CW crossover, in all honesty.
True.
Who knows, though? We'll just have to see in 5 more years, and maybe we'll see the movie and figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next one is a little bit sadder of news, maybe. Star Wars Celebration has been canceled for this year, much like San Diego Comic-Con was canceled. Disney and Lucasfilm came out and officially canceled Star Wars Celebration this year. I'm kind of wondering myself, Rick, with this. I've never had the privilege to go to Star Wars Celebration by any means.
No.
I wouldn't mind
cool.
going. I love Star Wars.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be great. But I was thinking about it and I was like, huh, what would they have even shown?
Yeah. What would they have to talk about?
Yeah, what do they have to talk about? If this was going on this year, this was going to be when was this going to be? I don't remember when the original date was going to be. But I mean, let's say if it was going to come out at any time in the next coming months, what news do you have? Are they going to talk about some books, some High Republic books?
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 2?
Catch up on like Rise of Skywalker.
Yes, it's like I don't think they're going to talk about that movie anymore.
No.
I think they're going to start saying. I don't think they're going to reference that stuff like at all. Kind of like the prequels. They just kind of stop talking about them, and then all of a sudden, people like them again now.
Yeah.
I think the sooner you just let it die, maybe future generations will find appreciation for it.
For sure.
But I mean, no, I honestly I think it's kind of a blessing to them that they had to cancel it because I don't know what they would talk about.
Maybe they did it on purpose.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, maybe.
It's like we don't have much to talk about this year. We got this pandemic going.
Yes, I mean, seriously, there would be nothing. I can't think of anything they could have talked about that would have warranted a convention. All right, like
Yeah.
I'm sure they could have talked about something and shown some stuff that would have been cool to see, but warranting like thousands of people to make a trip out to Anaheim or wherever was gonna be this year. I don't even remember for a convention when there's no news. I think it was kind of a blessing for him.
Yeah.
That's just me. I don't know what else to really say about it. It sucks for everybody that was hoping to go, but take a step back and think like, well, what would we have even seen, right? There's no movie coming out. There's literally nothing coming out for Star Wars that we know of aside from Mandalorian 2 at this point. So
yeah,
at least that I can think of. So All right. Our next rapid fire topic is going to be is an interesting one. Rick, I don't know if you saw this, but
Yeah.
Spotify signed a deal with Warner Brothers to produce scripted content for Spotify. Now,
Interesting.
this is kind of cool because I don't know about you, but like, do you use or do you listen to audiobooks or anything?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, I like listening to audiobooks. They're good if you have a long drive. Like I would prefer to probably listen to an audiobook than listen to like Pandora or something.
Yeah,
Just eventually repeating the same songs you've already heard over and over and over again.
exactly.
That's why like podcasts in general have become like so popular just because it's kind of like fresh content for people to listen to and things like and people enjoy doing it on their commutes and everything. And Spotify has been making a lot of big plays, especially recently here with the acquisition of Joe Rogan taking his podcast exclusively over to Spotify for just a little bit of change, right? It was $100 million deal.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean,
A lot of money.
yeah, I'm Spotify making some big moves.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
with this the scripted content from DC though, I think it could be really cool. They used to do like if you remember, it was kind of before our time, but over on like the radio, they used to dramatize like books
Yeah, like
and things
radio
like that.
dramas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it could be really cool for that kind of stuff to make a comeback, especially for something along the lines of like comic book material that
That'd be
really does.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of lends itself to it. And like if you remember, the the classic story of the people hearing the War of the Worlds.
Oh, yeah,
You
they
know
thought
what I
it was
mean?
real. Yeah.
A lot of people thought it was real because they didn't know it was just a dramatized, book reading essentially.
Yeah, yeah.
So, the one thing I'm hopeful for with this is that, for one, I think they said it's gonna be, like, a bunch of, like, new original stuff, and, it's not gonna be connected to, like, the movies anyway, so there are gonna be, like, new original stories with all the DC characters. The only thing I would hope for is that they're gonna put, like, some more production value into it, kinda similar to how Star Wars does their audiobooks, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you listened to a Star Wars audiobook?
I've heard clips of them.
Yeah, I've listened to quite a few of those ones because of the production they put behind it. So if someone's on, like, a spaceship, you hear beeps and boops.
Yeah,
Right,
like, in the background.
yeah, you hear if there's, like, a space battle, you hear, like, TIE fighter screeches. If someone
Yeah.
pulls out a lightsaber, you hear it, They put a lot of production value into, like, the actual dramatization of, the story, and it improves the listening experience, makes you feel like you're a part of the world, so,
Yeah, yeah.
if they go that route with the DC characters, I think it could be I mean, just with the growing popularity of, like, podcasts and everything like that, I think it could be a really big move for them.
Oh, for sure.
And, I think it could be really successful, if they get a good voice cast and, like, they make sure that, you know, every single character has a discerning different voice, because that's one thing that I know when I not read, but when I listen to, like, audiobooks, if you have one voice actor doing it, a lot of them are better than others at doing, multiple voices,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
sometimes it can kinda get muddled and you don't really.
Know who's
Yeah,
talking
you
or
you
yeah.
miss who's actually talking right now if their voice sounds too similar to another
It makes
person. So,
sense.
yeah, so if as long as if they put, like, some real heavy, good production value behind it with a good voice cast and they put some effort into it, which it seems like they would and Spotify would
You
want them
think
to
they would.
do, I think this could be really cool, honestly. I think it could be great, especially with, unfortunately, like, comic books, and just printed, form kinda being a thing of the past almost anymore, and how, like, people getting their content digitally, like, even digital comics are a lot bigger than they ever used to be. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but I think more people actually read digital comics and actually go to a comic book store and actually buy physical copies anymore.
Yeah. I
So,
imagine.
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, just in our world, printed form material is, this kind of dying breed,
Going on
so
the wayside, yeah.
yeah, this is good. I could see a lot more people actually a lot more companies put if this is successful, I could see a lot of companies, especially with someone like Marvel, doing a very similar thing.
Oh, yeah, for
Like
sure.
especially that. All right, Rick. Our last topic that we have today here for the rapid fire. All right. I kept this
Lay it
one.
on me.
I kept this one from you for as a special surprise because I didn't know. I don't know. You may have already heard about it, but this is it.
I'm intrigued.
Did you know that Vegeta, my boy Vegeta, in Dragon Ball? Well, for one, did you know you didn't finish watching Dragon Ball Super, right?
No.
Well, it was good. That's fine. I liked it. It was okay. But more importantly, like the anime is over and everything, but the manga it's still going on. Like the story has continued.
From Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, the story of Dragon Ball Super has progressed beyond the events of the anime and the films. So there is new Dragon Ball Super continuity and material coming out like today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happened was, and I remember this just, I wanted to save this as a final surprise topic because when we did 21 questions, we were asked who our favorite DBZ character was, I think by Majin Buu something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's a great name.
Yeah. Majin Buu.
Majin Buu 69 420 XX or something,
Yeah,
whatever
something.
it was. Shout out to Majin Buu.
Yeah. Shout out.
But we were asked who our favorite DBZ characters were, and you said Goku. Boringly said Goku. And I obviously said Vegeta because he is the best. And this is what happened, dude. Vegeta has finally surpassed Goku in official canon.
Really?
He has finally surpassed him, all right? Yeah. So in the official continuity of Dragon Ball Super and the most recent manga that came out, I'm not going to get into the full like story of like how everything's been going on by any means, but if you remember the Yadrat or whatever, however it's pronounced, the Yidrit planet that Goku learned instant transmission from.
Yeah. Yeah.
That race of people on that planet. So during the manga, I guess Vegeta went there for whatever reason, but it wasn't just to learn like instant transmission. He ended up learning this other ability they had, like available, like to teach. That Goku even says later once he learns it, he was never able to learn. So, and then the power itself is kind of like weird to some capacity. I mean, it's cool, but it's kind of weird. It's called like spirit fission, I think, and it allows Vegeta or the user in general to be able to kind of like cancel and nullify out any sort of fusion
Yeah.
powers and like life stealing powers or like energy absorption stuff. He's able to use the spirit fission ability to kind of negate all that. So
That's pretty cool.
if you and I fuse to Narek,
As we
Vegeta could come by and just make that not happen. Right at this point, like
that
it's done.
sucks.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like now, my boy at the time I'm reading this is officially more powerful than Goku. Like 100%.
How long though?
Who knows? Because Goku's plot armor, and he's just the
It's true.
boring. Like I love Goku. He's fine, but like
I get what
Vegeta
you're
is
saying.
just so much more of an interesting character. Just his arc was so much more compelling than Goku's. Like Goku's like Superman of this world. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And it's like depending on, unfortunately, with the benefit Superman has is that there have been different writers who were able to bring their own, takes and stories, to Superman to make him more compelling and interesting than just being a god. Whereas Goku has pretty much just been a god always.
Yeah.
That's just how he's been written. This is what it is. So like Superman kind of at least has the benefit of new and interesting stories being told, that because the comics and the superhero comics, they break canon and create new canon like every other year. So that's one benefit they have over them. But like Goku's just always been kind of boring. Like it's just he's always the best. It just is what it is.
It's like Superman. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. That's like at its core, it's like whatever. It's kind of these. There's never any stakes because, like, I mean, with DBZ,
like what's
anymore,
gonna happen to him?
well, they're gonna die, but then we've seen like numerous times they can just come back from the death anyway. So
Yeah.
the DBZ crew has probably done more fake deaths than Marvel has, which is like,
Yeah.
which is hard to say, right? I mean, like Marvel does fake deaths. Like, how many times has Loki died in the MCU at this point?
No.
I mean, he literally died like 4 times on screen. We've watched him die, and like
Yeah.
the DBZ people have all of them have done that numerous times. But yeah, that was our last rapid fire question, Rick. I wanted to save that for you just to kind of
Well, you
rub
sure surprised me.
rub that in a little bit. That this is a confirmation Vegeta's the best, dude. 100% confirmation.
I don't hear you.
What now?
I said I don't hear you.
What now, Goku over there? I can't hear the weak, man. Can't hear him. Can't hear him. Well, that'll do it for us today, guys. Rick, where can everybody find you online?
You're going to look up on Instagram, Sir Rick Metz, as you can see down in my title there with my name, Sir Rick Metz. And that's got a bunch of cool content on my Instagram page. What about you?
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram as well at Sir Rob Bifo right here. That's Sir Rob Bifo. So, yep, follow me there. We post on there pretty often. I mean,
you get a little bit better look into our personal lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I like to post upcoming things too. So if you want to follow us, just to kind of keep in touch with just things that we are working on. We like to post updates like on that as well. Like I have some stats reviews coming up that I'm working on. So I like to post like teases of that on there on the social media. Really only do Instagram though. So just at Sir Rob Bifo, at Sir Rick Metz. Please remember to like and subscribe to this video if you enjoy the content and want us to see more. Remember, you can send us questions and topics that we can use on the show, or for 21 questions that we do at honestanduneducated@gmail.com. That's honestanduneducated@gmail.com. Now, 21 questions, we just had the one go up. That's the segment that we do just for like pretty much any sort of obscure question that we get that wouldn't be related to anything in the news world or the movie world or anything like that. You know, what's your favorite kind of pizza? Should pineapple be on pizza? We would answer that sort of question on the 21 question show.
The answer is no.
The answer is no, pineapple pizza sucks. So that being said, again, guys, if you've been enjoying the content here, just please remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below on or email us at honestanduneducated@gmail.com with any topics or suggestions for just, topics for the main show or a new segment, or if you've been enjoying any of the other segments and you want us to do more of those segments, just drop a comment, let us know. And until next time, I'm Rob Bifo. Take care.